Hi everyone, it's Sal Jade and I'm coming to you live here today in Tarot Mastery as part of your Tarot Card Success Bonus, doing our November seminar for Tarot to give you some of my latest and best tips to help you improve your tarot readings, as well as announcing the Black Friday competition where you can win a psychic business coaching session with me. So I'm really excited to get started on that. If you're joining me live here today, then please just say hello and tell me where you're from and pop your name in the chat box. If you're here on the replay, so if you're actually not here live with me, just put hashtag replay. So I'm going to also answer any questions that you've got for me about the tarot as we go through this today as well. So just pop them in the chat box, and once I've worked through the questions that I'm going to cover today and the topics, I'll be able to answer them for you. Hello, Leslie. How are you, my love? So what we're going to do today, I'm going to explore for you the following questions that I've been asked in this group and also in the Q&A board on Udemy. So how do you know which spread to choose? So if you've got a question, how do you know which one to choose out of the 3 cards, out of the 7 cards, out of the 10 cards, which one you should choose? Is it possible to lose connection with your deck? And if so, how can you avoid this? I'm also going to be looking at why you might be asking your tarot card a question and then ask it again and get a different result. So I'm going to look at how you can fix that. And I'm also going to be looking at how to get the most out of your exchanges in the group. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm also going to be talking about giving some great tips to help you with your love readings. As some of you might know, I've just released my new love reading course this week in the last 7 days. It's doing really well. It's in the hot and new in Udemy. So I'm so excited for everyone who's signed up so far. I hope you're loving it. I've been getting some really juicy, yummy feedback about specifically about how this is helping you with certain questions, like when will I meet my soulmate? How do I know if this person's the right one for me? When will I get married? What do I need to know about my marriage or my relationship? So all those kind of common questions you get asked are covered in this course. So I'm going to talk a bit more about the course in this as well today, as well as I said, announcing the Black Friday competition, which I like to do every year, a special little competition to commemorate Black Friday that comes about in the US on the day after Thanksgiving. So, hi, sorry, I had a tongue trip up, a Mercury retrograde tongue trip up. Hello, Yolanda from Nova Scotia, Canada. Hello, Delta from Florida. Hello, Leslie, I said you're in New Orleans. Hello, Kernawan from Bali. Oh, I've just spent a lot of time in Bali this year and I'll be going back. Where are you from in Bali? What part of Bali? I love Bali very much. I've spent a lot of time there. And hello, Ebony from Houston. Congratulations, winner of my last competition. And Dan, hello, Dan. Thank you so much for your kind review today, Dan. I read that and my heart was like, oh, thank you. Dan gave me a beautiful review of the new love course. Thank you so much. From Toronto. Oh, hello, Barnard. Just answer some questions for you. Good morning from India. Beautiful India. I've spent lots of time there too. And hello, Julie. Thank you guys so much for joining me from all over the world. So, and I would also like to thank Willow Rain and Shamali and Jenny Woods and Natalie Jones, if you're watching, for your beautiful reviews that you've given me. I know that we're all really busy, and even if you just take a few moments to just put a couple of comments in, like a lot of people do a lovely star review, which is awesome, but if you can put a couple of comments through, that really helps in people wanting to find the course to see what it's about. So thank you to all the people that have done that. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to get started. And as I said, from North Carolina, Julie, I always think of the Outlander books when I think of North Carolina because I read them like 15 years ago and they're set there. Melissa, hello from Toronto. Lots of awesome Canadians here. My sister lives in Canada. So I love Canada as well. So let's get started, and as I said, I'm going to work through some of these questions. If you've got additional questions, put them here, and then I'm going to tell you how you can win the free psychic coaching session with me. And the psychic coaching session is a 45-minute session where I look at you and where you're at in your tarot business. Like, even if you haven't got started, we come up with some strategies for 2020 to start getting you out there. If you've already started making some income, where you've already started putting yourself out there, I can look at your current marketing. I can point you in the right right direction of where you want to go with your marketing, or if you're a little bit further along and you've already got, say, a website or a Facebook business page, I can do a very detailed analysis with you. So we do it like on Skype together, where I go through and talk about how you can improve your tarot business and get some more people in as clients. So that's going to be announced at the end of this particular speech. You love it here? Awesome. Okay, so I'll just get started. Now, so I got recently asked in this group, how do you know which tarot spread to use? Now, what I mean by that is that, like, if you have to ask a question, and I've been asked this a bit lately, do I use the Celtic Cross? Do I use the horseshoe? Do I use the 3-card spread? What's the best one to use? So the first rule of thumb I would suggest is that if it's a short question, so what I mean by that, like if somebody needs to know, how am I going to go in my job interview in a few weeks, or, how am I going to meet anyone in the next month or something like that, then I would stick with the 3-card spread. So the 3-card spreads are perfect for those short-term questions, like happening in the next couple of months, because they do cover the next couple of months only. But if it's something that's a bit more serious and a bit more long-term, so what I mean by serious, if you're asking what do I need to know about buying a house, I wouldn't do a 3-card spread for that, because that's obviously a huge lifetime investment. I would do a longer 7-card spread or a 10-card Celtic Cross spread, because that includes the near future and it also includes the distant future, and it also gives you a lot of background into what's going on in your psychology, in your mindset, maybe some obstacles that could be in your way, whereas a 3-card spread is going to obviously give you a lot less. So I would stick to those really simple short answer questions with a 3-card spread. With a longer reading that needs a bit more detail, I would go with the 7-card or the 10-card spread. Now, sometimes also, and this often happens to you, especially if you're a healer, or if you're already into a session with someone and they've only got maybe 15 minutes left of the reading and they want to know something, okay, so what do I need to know about my career next year? So a throwaway little question like that, like they haven't come to you specifically for the career, but they throw that one in the last 10 or 15 minutes, then for that, I'd use a 3-card spread, because again, you won't have time to go in and do another whole big massive one. But if it's only like 10 minutes, then I would get the 3-card spread out. If it's the last few minutes, and trust me, this does happen in readings where you've spent an hour with someone and you're like, okay, we know what we're doing in the career now. We know what you're going to do next year. This is what to look out for. This is how it's going to unfold. This is the future. And suddenly they go, oh, but what about my love life in the last 2 minutes of the reading? In those situations, I would say, look, you might need to come back for another reading in that particular situation, because you're not going to be able to really get stuck into it in 2 minutes. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about what spread to choose for which situation that you are in. Oh, hello, Melissa. Hello. Oh, there's a few more people that have joined us. I'll just quickly say hello. Awesome. So then the next question, which I really love, is it possible to lose connection with your deck? Now, absolutely. And this happens to me a lot. Like, please don't worry if you start feeling like there's many reasons that you can start getting cloudy and off and strange readings. But one of the big ones can be that your deck and you might get the cards out and you're like, none of this is making sense. And then it happens again, and then it happens again. Now, sometimes it can be, if it happens as a one-off, it's usually because either the client hasn't asked the right question, or maybe you're just having a bad day. But if it's happening a fair bit, then maybe the deck needs to be temporarily put aside. Decks need a bit of recharging too. If you've done all the normal things where you've knocked on it and you put some crystals on it, just keep it aside, give it some energetic love and keep it aside for a little while and pick up and play with another deck. I go through huge phases with my decks where sometimes I don't use them for quite a few months at a time. Sometimes I'm using them constantly. So just give the deck, the deck's energy, you might have done a lot of readings with your deck and it's feeling a bit burnt out and you're feeling a bit burnt out. So again, maybe you take a little bit of time out, but if you pick up another deck and find that stuff's resonating, then just play with that deck too. There's definitely nothing wrong with having more than one decks. And especially if you're going to be a professional, you'll probably have more than one deck. And you'll feel drawn to using a different deck depending on your client and depending on what kinds of questions they are asking. Banwa, in context, it's important to learn all the spreads out there. Oh, Farnwell, that's a great question. And I mentioned that in the love course too. Is it important to learn all the spreads out there? Look, I would 100% absolutely say, please don't. I'm begging you as your tarot teacher for now, and you may find many other tarot teachers in your lifetime, please don't try to learn 365 spreads. Like, tarot is a journey of opening up your intuition and the portal. I would keep, especially in the beginning, a few simple spreads that you love, that are working for you, and keep it until you start mastering them, and then add another one in. And then maybe after a few months, add another one in. Like, there is those moments, and as I said, I'm sorry for those who've already enrolled in my love course, because I talk about this, about how, like, if you are reading for someone and you get a really confusing reading, the last thing you want to be doing is going, oh my goodness, what does, that spread number 275 says that the blockage is in the 3rd position, but that's the 10 of swords. So does that mean it's this? Does it mean it's that? Like, you really don't want to be having those kind of cerebral memory blocks at that moment. Like, keep the spreads as simple as possible, fall in love with a few and use them, and then move on to more. And as I said, like, for me, I have less than 7 or 8 spreads that I use, and I talk about that in the love course too. I have a special relationship spread, but I often use all my same generic spreads for all sorts of questions, including love. So don't feel that pressure to over complicate the tarot, is my advice. Other teachers might feel differently. Sorry, there's lots of bugs in my new house. So if you see me suddenly freaking out about a bug, it's because there's a bug. Or a kangaroo. There was a kangaroo in my garden this morning, which was awesome. It scared me. I walked out to sort of breathe and ground, and a kangaroo was like from here, like maybe a few meters away, and it hopped away. So if bugs or kangaroos suddenly appear, that's what's going on. So yeah, look, I wouldn't overcomplicate it. I would find a few that you resonate and just use them and get really good at them, and then add a few more in, is my answer to that question, sweetheart. Okay, hello, Sonia. Cool. So I hope that's also helped people who, if you've lost connection with your deck, take some time out and just, give it a break, and then you can go back in. And you might find, I talk about this as well, how the Thoth deck for me, I loved it for many years. It was my first tarot deck. And then I just stopped using it. And now I hardly ever use it. Like, I'm in love with the graphics. I love it, but I don't use it very often. So you might find you put your deck aside for quite some time as well, and that's okay. Trust your intuition with that. Now, this one has been coming up a lot lately, which always excites me, because it means there's multiple people who want to know about it. And that is, why do you keep getting, like, so say you ask the tarot a question, and then a few days later you ask it the same question and get different cards. Now, my big advice is, please don't ask the tarot the same question multiple times. Like, this is a way to really confuse yourself, and it's also a way to confuse the tarot, because the tarot is like energy. It's like your energetic, beautiful companion, and your energy will impact upon the cards. So, and it's almost like, I remember Louise Hayes gave this once example, like when you're praying, and it's a bit like going to a kitchen or going to a restaurant and putting an order in, and then following the waiter in to make sure they got the order, and then going up to the chef and bugging the chef and saying, make sure you put the strawberries in, and da-da-da-da. Like, you don't do that in a restaurant. You sit there and trust that your food's going to come. And the tarot is the same. Like, it will give you what you need, but you need to give it time to unfold. So if you've given yourself a reading and you've gotten some cards, then I'd sit with that and let it unfold, and then wait a few weeks or even a couple of months before trying again. I wouldn't jump straight back in and try to get the same answers or different answers. Like, you'll just end up confusing the tarot, and you'll confuse yourself. So that's what I would do if, why sometimes people get different outcomes, because it's like they get confused themselves. The only exception to this is if you need to shift something. So say, for example, you do a reading and you get a negative one. Now, so it's interesting for me. I'm always fascinated when people get a really great positive one, and then they come back 2 days later and do it again and get a negative. And I go, why didn't you just keep the positive one? Like, that was awesome. But if you get a negative, then, and you're going, oh my goodness, like, I've got that's not going to work out, that's a heartbreak, then say to the universe, what do I need to shift? Take the lessons of the tarot. Each card has a beautiful lesson for you to master. Then come back maybe a week or a couple of weeks later, and come back and do it again, and then you might find you've shifted something, so you've changed the outcome. So that's the only time I would suggest that you want to look at asking the tarot again, basically, is if you've gone off and done some work. Now, the last thing I'd like to talk about before I talk about the competition is on a little bit of a sad note. I had a student reach out to me this week because she had done an exchange for someone and that person hadn't reciprocated the exchange. Now, this happens every few months in Tarot Mastery. It doesn't happen very often, but it does occasionally happen where people don't honour their exchanges, or they don't honour giving someone a review, or they don't honour something like that. Now, all I can say first is if you are someone who you owe someone a reading, then I would ask you to please just be honourable to them and treat people how you want to be treated. Like, you wouldn't like it, I know, if you gave your time and energy and love to someone and they just didn't even thank you or didn't reciprocate. And I'll also say, I think it's really important, and I have mentioned this before, that if you're someone who wants to get an exchange done straight away, then just write that in the post. Like, say, I'd like to do an exchange, would like the other person to exchange back within 48 hours. That way, it's really clear on the time thing, because we've all got different time limitations. Sometimes people can pop into Facebook for 5 minutes and they might not have time for another week, or they might be in the middle of cooking dinner and they can have a quick look, but they can't really and they might say, yeah, I'd love to, but they can't really get back to that person and do another exchange for 3 or 4 days because they're working full time. And I know how that feels. I've been in many situations where I've been too tired to read. So keep the lines of communication open between you and the people you're exchanging with. Straight up front, say to them, listen, anyone I'll do this with, I would really love it to be returned within 48 hours. If you can't, or 72 hours, or within a week. If you can't do that, please don't apply for the exchange, or please don't, if you can't post a review in 7 days, please don't apply. And that way you'll weed out anyone who's, unfortunately being a little bit dishonourable. And as I've mentioned before, it's not something I can police with over 3,000 people in the group, but I can just gently and lovingly encourage you all to please keep the lines of communication open. Please don't accept exchanges unless you know you're going to be able to give one back. And even if you just say, look, it's not going to be for a week or two, that's okay. Hi, Nancy. Okay, so let's talk about the competition. So what I'm going to be doing is we're doing a Black Friday competition in Tarot Mastery where you can win this amazing coaching package with me. Now, it's a coaching session that goes for 45 minutes. Now, next year I am going to be running coaching packages, so it's the only way you can work with me like that is to either do a package or to win this prize because I don't do individual ones. So all you need to do is to sign up to my new love reading course. So this is a course that's going to teach you how to really nail those questions like how am I going to meet my soulmate? What do I need to know about my relationship? Is this the right person for me? Some of those unethical questions like, is my partner being unfaithful to me? Or what does he think of me? What does she think of me? Looking at different relationship spreads and different decks to use. Also looking at how you can manage love reading so that your client gets the best possible outcome. So I know that I do cover in Tarot Card Success, I do cover how to interpret the tarot as love, and I do that, but I go into a much more advanced level with this course. There's loads of samples and practical examples for you to follow. It is something that I recommend you only do if you've already enrolled in Tarot Card Success, which obviously you guys have because you're here. So it's not one of my beginner courses. So it's for those of you who really want to get serious about being able to give really accurate love readings. I also teach you how to use oracle cards to do love readings as well. So all you need to do is to sign up and join at the special launch price of $9.99 US. I'm going to put the link here, and as long as you've completed it by the 8th of December, and then send it either through the Facebook Messenger to Kathy, put Kathy, and then just put psychic, it can be like coaching competition, Black Friday coaching competition, or you can email it to team@saljade.com, or you can post it here. So you can post it here under hashtag Black Friday, a screenshot of your completed course. You've got until the 8th of December to complete it. And as I said, the easiest way to probably do it is take a screenshot and post it here under hashtag Black Friday, or you can email it to Kathy at team@saljade.com, or you can just pop it in the Facebook Messenger and address it to Kathy. Because as most of you know, I can't answer questions in the Facebook Messenger thing. She answers all my questions there, so you can do that as well. So I'll be announcing that on, I believe it is the 9th or the 10th of September, who the winner is. So if you want to win that, 2020 psychic business coaching package with me, to have a 45-minute reading, sorry, not reading, a 45-minute session with me to help you get your tarot business out there to the next level, doesn't matter if you're just starting, if you're thinking about starting next year, or you're already like halfway through and you're thinking, I really want to get more clients, I'm not getting enough clients, and getting me to look at your marketing strategy and give you all my very best coaching tips on that. So if you would like to enter, please let me know by popping as I said, you can either pop in yes, want to enter. I'm going to put the code in right now here. So if you haven't signed up to the course and you want this special launch price, just to let you guys know, Udemy has changed the whole thing about how we can offer discounts. Like, we used to be able to offer discounted coupons whenever we wanted. Now they only let us do it for these little small tiny patches, and we can only do it 3 times a month. So seeing the price at $9.99 US, I would grab it now, because that's only valid for 5 days, and then they won't let me do any more for this month. So if you want to enter the competition and you want to only pay $9.99, do jump on it now. I am going to edit this. I hope I can do this. Let's see if I can do this. And I'm going to also put the link up in your original post there. I did it. Okay. So just getting new to all the Facebook Live things sometimes. So yeah, if you want to sign up, if you've got any questions, please post them here and I'm here to answer. And I'm also here to answer anything else you've got about the tarot. Absolutely. You want to enter? Awesome, Julie. Hi. Okay, if anyone's got any more questions, please let me know. As I said, that competition, all you need to do is complete the course. It's only about 5 hours, this course. I will be adding some additional reading samples in the next few weeks as well, like things like how to choose between 2 people. So say if you've got a client that comes to you and they're interested, or they're in love with 2 people and they don't know which is the right person for them, like how to do that kind of reading as well. I'm going to be adding that. I'm also going to be adding a lecture on how you can do a Facebook love reading live and do it effectively, and do it so that you're also protected. I'll just check if anyone else has asked me any questions, because sometimes I miss them. Hello, Safera. I didn't see you before. Cool. Obakang, hello. Beth Ann, hello. Aruna, hello. Thank you for the little love heart. Bridget, hello. Cool. Okay. So there's no questions. I'm going to sign off now. But remember, if you've got questions, just poke them here. I will be looking. That competition does end on the 8th of December, and I'll be drawing it, I think, on the 10th of December, because I didn't want to draw it on the weekend. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've learned a lot today in our November tarot seminar, and I hope that you're going to go away and get some awesome results from your tarot readings using some of those tips. Thank you so much. Bye.